Welcome home, come and see love and grace for every family. Hand in hand we rise and grow on Wale&Wumi Family Show.
Welcome to Wale&WumiOlayiwolaFamilyShow, place where homes are restored and family rescued by the grace of God. My name is Wale&Wulayiwola on Husbandman series, where we explore issues on Christian men, marriages, how to raise children, and lots more. My guest today is Mr. OlayiwolaFamilyShow, a professional project manager in the NHS sector in the United Kingdom. Also, he has a decade of experience in church leadership. He is also passionate about helping people to find their purpose, to make impact in life. Join me today in welcoming Mr. OlayiwolaFamilyShow to Husbandman series.
My name is OlayiwolaFamilyShow. Thank you very much for that question. It's a very, very significant question in the context of, people living in the diaspora and, the expectations. As a start to that question, I think it's fairly important to look at things from the realities that is on ground. There are some levels of expectations from those back home compared to, realities that people engage with when they come abroad. And these are topics and conversations that needs to be had, just so we have that, balance across board regarding expectations. A lot of times when people are abroad, there are huge expectations on them, things they are meant to do, things they are meant to have delivered, years are counting by, and people are thinking, oh, by now he should be able to do this or she should be able to do that. But again, when people are faced with realities abroad, nobody tells you about isolation. Nobody tells you about, low levels of accountability. Nobody tells you about lack of communal, connections. You are just all by yourself, trying to figure things out, trying to swim in the tide of, immigration challenges, career challenges, financial challenges. So it's a very, very difficult thing. Expectation versus the reality that people face on ground. But regardless of all of those challenges, there is still a possible way out that people can explore, and that's some of the things we're going to be looking at in depth going further. So living far from your homeland technically means you are all by yourself. You are figuring things out on your own. You are making your own mistakes, learning all by yourself. Lack of mentorship, lack of direction, lack of somebody to hold your hand to say this is how to go about it. And that's the situation that most of us in the diaspora have come to bear with. We came into the country without anybody telling us what to do, where to go. And this has created that loop, that gap, to which we then don't understand how to manage our ways around certain situations and circumstances. Now, when these situations occur, I think one thing that people then need to resolve and backtrack into is to start building that community base that can give them the reach. If you have been in a country or in an environment where there is no community support, there is no form of identification, you then need to begin to look at avenues and areas where you can begin to fix these things up yourself. One of which is identifying with the body of Christ, a church base, a local assembly, where you can then begin to build these relationships, build these friendships, and then grow from there. Number two thing I like to highlight for the context of this conversation is the part where, even though you have left your home country and now you're in the diaspora, there are relationships you built back home that you must still keep. You must continue to feed those relationships. You must continue to nurture them as you continue to grow. So a lot of people go, abroad, they become diaspora, they start diaspora life, and they disconnect totally from how they were being fed. There are people that continue to hold their hands back home. This is not very appropriate. It is important that in the context of growth, you don't cut away from your roots. You don't cut away from your feeding system. So people need to wake up and then build those sense of communities, Connect with those that have continued to feed you, maybe spiritually, maybe feed you career-wise, maybe mentor you in one way or another. Do not disconnect just because now you're in the diaspora. Continue to feed off those relationships. Build a base of believers that you can continually grow together with, and you can continue to uptake from them. And I've seen the many benefits that these kind of relationships can bring, especially in the body of Christ, in the church, where you are talented or gifted in an area, and then you meet somebody who is like-minded that you can rub ideas together with, build a system together, build structures together, and you continue to evolve from there. This is very important and should be really encouraged. In a multicultural context, the difference between a male and a man is just the biological difference. So for a male, it's all about biology. It's all about the context of, biology of, the build-up of the male identity. So in the context of a male, it's just all about biology, nothing complex, nothing more. But in the context and in the world of a man, it's rather more about sacrifice, accountability, responsibility, sense of identity, ownership, maturity as well, both spiritual and emotional, financial responsibility. These are the various characteristics that is demonstrated, the different dimensions of characteristics that people see and then say, oh, this is a man, rather than say, oh, this is a male figure. So the basic difference is just, in a multicultural context like we have, is just one is focused on biology, the build-up, the features, the physical features that shows that an individual, represents the characteristics of a male. And the other one are rather inherent. They are inbuilt features. Like I mentioned earlier, things around financial responsibility, spiritual responsibility, emotional responsibility, discipline, good character. Those are the features. Taking responsibility, leading up front. Those are features that separate a man from a male. And when we go deeper in the context of a multicultural environment like we are now, it's a bit blurry, because a lot of times when people see young individuals that are male and they've grown, physical attributes are so obvious, they've grown so quickly and so fast, people expect them to portray the responsibilities of a man. It's quite different. You don't become a man because of your height. You don't become a man because of, the growth of your face or the maturity, the look of maturity that you pose, or the kind of clothes you wear, or probably even speaking mannerisms. You might not essentially be a man by those things. What makes you a man are the things I highlighted: sacrifice, leadership, responsibility, sense of identity that you are in charge of leading either a team or yourself. Those are the things that then makes you become a man, rather than the male features or the male identity, the biological features and etc. Well, I think there's more of clash than harmony in respect of expectations of manhood, of those of us that are immigrants coming into the country with a different mentality from back home, learning a different way of life, and coming into diaspora where the expectations are clearly different. Now, these expectations dive into the areas of responsibilities. For example, in a family context, there is the man, there is the woman, and there are the children. In the African context, it is expected, there's an expectation that women are more focused around, the domestic responsibilities of the children. But in the diaspora reality, it is a mixed responsibility. You are equally as responsible as the woman. Now, being the man can pick up any task and any role in the house as much as a woman is also expected to pick up anyone whatsoever. And I get the part where there are some levels of responsibilities that a man should chest. There are some physical level of work that you wouldn't push a woman to. But there are also some domestic level of work that is never too big or too small for a man. And these are the realities that when we now come abroad, we begin to find out, we begin to see that, oh, there is the school run aspect. There is the aspect where, you've got to look after your children, you've got to take them to school, you've got to prepare them in the morning for school, you've got to dress them up, you've got to look after them essentially the same way a woman should do the same. And the nature of work abroad also permits that level of style, because the woman is jumping off to work and then the man is returning in some cases, and the man is going, the woman is returning in some cases. So the reality just suggests that it is only responsible for a man to pick up these roles, these primary domestic activities, as much as a woman, and make sure the house is going, the family keeps running as it should be. It is very challenging. That's the honest truth. Really very challenging. Now, the reason why there are no too many models of healthy marriages or healthy, leadership where there is a male figure doing right is just because for some reasons we are focused largely on the internet. We go to the internet to feed off whatever we want to see as our realities. Now, if you look at the internet, what sells the most are usually bad news. If you compare the good news versus the bad news sells so very fast. Oh, broken marriages so very fast. A man, going into promiscuity travels very fast. But when the man does something good, it doesn't travel so fast. Now, the mistake that we make as individuals is we focus our assumptions and decisions based on what we see off the internet. So it makes it very challenging in real time, where it looks as if there is no good marriage, there is no model marriage, there is no good example of who a man should be. There is no model example. So one advice that should go out of this context of discussion is we should limit our access or our decision-making process away from the internet, from social media. We need to go back to the Word of God. Men especially need to be molded by what God says. Bible made it very explicit. It says, man, love your woman. It says, woman, submit to your husband. It didn't say one should do first before the other. So when we begin to model our lives, our marriages according to the Word of God, we then begin to portray what the standard should be, what a model marriage should be, what a model man should be. But one thing I can tell you for a fact is there are good men. Regardless of the fact that it is challenging to see them so obviously on the internet or things like that, there are pockets of good men everywhere. You wouldn't see this news travel very far, but they exist. All we can continue to do is to, follow the path that is righteous, continue to do the right things, model what God says about marriage, loving our wives the way Christ loves the church, unconditionally, regardless of issues. Continue to love. And for the woman, continue to submit. And then we begin to see these things continue to work. But marriages that are well modeled and working properly, you would hardly see them make noise on the internet. The ones that make noise are the ones that are not working. The ones that are working quietly. You wouldn't see them make so much noise. And that's why it seems like there are no working marriages. Number one is identity struggles. Because there is no man leading, there is no leadership for these young boys to follow, there is no mentorship, they then fall into the category where they begin to wonder what their actual identity should be. So the first encounter in those situations is identity issue. These young boys begin to wonder how to identify themselves, who they are meant to be. So they are launched into the world where the internet, social media determines what their identity should be. The second other struggle is the struggle of low self-esteem. Young boys that have come up from environments where there is no direct core leadership from a man, where there is a father figure, usually struggle with low self-esteem. And this is statistically proven. It's also available on the internet. Because they didn't grow with the male figure identity of can do. You know, the can do spirit that comes from environments where there is a man, they can see the father going through challenges and winning them. They can see the fact that you can stand up to any situation and win. They can see the fact that their father did this at a time, their father did it at another time, and then their self-esteem is boosted from that experience. But when that figure is missing in the context of a young man growing up, it then begins to struggle with low self-esteem. Another problem that comes with that is the problem of anger. Now, when there is no male figure, you know, there are some things in the home, in the house, a healthy home, where the young boy, it can even be as old as 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, might try to be throwing tantrums and all that because he's so familiar with the mother and he doesn't see the mother much of an authority figure. But with the father's presence, not saying anything at all, we've seen cases where the boy just calms down. Not only because the father would do anything to physically harm the boy, that's not what I mean, but the fact that there is a presence that is authoritative, communicates a message to the boy, and then contains that anger in a very wide sense. So when young boys grow in environments where they can't see anybody that they see as an authority image or figure, somebody that can lead them, somebody that can say, this is the way we go in this family. This is our family identity. This is our family system. These are the values that we cultivate in this home. And is holding that torch consistently. You see your father praying, you see your father being disciplined, you see your father living right, living well, you see your father being a model, you know, supporting your mother, loving her the way of the Lord, doing the right things. It then contains that tendency for, you know, going out of shape emotionally, where anger becomes the order of the day. So I've seen these 3 dimensions a lot of times, where young boys growing up in a fatherless environment goes into low self-esteem, identity issues, and then anger. But when there is a male figure, you know, a man in the house leading the environment, anger is usually well contained, because then you can speak to the young boy as a man. You can communicate with him from your experiences and say, okay, I know the stage that my boy is. And you know, boys evolve. They evolve. There is a stage in the life of a boy from the age of 5 to 10. There is a presentation that they have. When they go from 10 to 15, it's a different presentation. From 15 to 21, they have another different presentation. So every 6 years of their life, they seem to have changes as they evolve. But as the man, the authority figure available in the house, you are able to sit your boy down and say, at this stage that you are, I understand the issues, the puberty changes, you know, the features you are beginning to have that is making you believe now, you know, you are a big boy, or you can now do things on your own, but this is what you need to focus on. So a man can then help the young boy to contain that anger in a way that can be restructured positively. And when the man is not available, we see anger, we see identity problems, we see low self-esteem. Now let's look at the context. Let's paint a picture of a home. There is the mother and then let's say 3 or 4 children growing all together. Immigrant family, the mother is trying to keep her job to be able to keep the immigration status active and ongoing. And the young children are there just growing up by themselves, no sense of direction. The mother is busy trying to keep her job to be able to keep them legally in the country, whereas the children are growing without direction as well. So she might be winning in one way, but again, the children are just growing based on what the internet, the social media says to them. These are the challenges that comes in this. So when there is no balance of, oh, okay, the mother is off, but my daddy is home. Oh, daddy's out, but mommy is around. But when it's a case of mommy has gone to work, we are all by ourselves. It means we are leading ourselves. We are on our own. Whatever we see on social media is our daddy. Social media becomes our daddy and mommy because physically, daddy and mommy are not present. So whatever they are being fed off social media now becomes what they grow with and what becomes their only source of truth. This is damaging. And I must really emphasize this. It is extremely damaging because the children then becomes the future that the woman is laboring over. So the woman becomes stressed because she's trying to balance her job with keeping the family going all by herself. There is emotional stress. There is failure in leadership. She begins to see some behaviors in the children that are not identical with the kind of value system that she wants to see in her family. She's struggling to, maybe she's having challenges at work. Maybe she has been threatened about her visa status or immigration status. So all of these complications then makes things go out of the way. And this is why I sincerely believe that anyone in this capacity or category should then try as much as possible to find somebody who these children can be accountable to within the family system. So you might be on your own with the children as a woman, but there can be an uncle as well who can volunteer to groom the children, to groom the boys. There can be an aunt who can volunteer to groom the girls. Rather than leave them to be groomed by social media, at least connect them to an authority figure within the family system. It can be within your family system, or it can be with people that you trust. It can be within the church system as well. People that can help to support you to grow your children and groom them in the way of the Lord. So rather than leave them to social media, to be groomed, please, I beg you, look for figures that can help to support you, boost you, help to train the children and support you in their growth. The first thing is, please, mentality change. Your mentality needs to be totally changed. I get the part where you're a cultural man, you're a traditional man. Some people can even be titled from back home in Nigeria or Africa or any part of the world where they've come from, and they feel like, certain responsibilities are below them. Please, it doesn't work that way in the diaspora. The diaspora is a do-it-yourself system. It's a fully do-it-yourself kind of system. Now, how do I mean by do-it-yourself system? There is nobody else that is coming to save you. Unlike back home, where people are able to maybe get domestic help that can take care of certain aspects of the house, and then the man is focused on maybe strategy and a few things. But in the diaspora, you are the strategist of the home, you are the spiritual lead, you are the career lead of the home, you are the functional lead of the home, you are also the domestic lead of the home where necessary. So for example, the woman is off to work, there are the children. Where are you going to throw your children to? Nobody is coming to look after, except you are willing to pay for a childminder who is then going to take the same salary as you are earning. So the only logical thing to do is now to plug yourself into the system. Make yourself that person that is physically present in the lives of your children. The diaspora is so fickle. If you are not careful, at the snap of a finger, the children can become easily turned into something else that you never figured out. So the only way is to continually be close to your children, continually monitor them, be present in the life of your children. When it gets to prayer, the man should be at the forefront. When it gets to strategy, the values of the family, the structural images that you want to see your family built on, you are directly responsible. The woman continues to support you. The woman continues to be your shoulder, your helping hand, your helpmates. But you see, the strategy, you have to continue to lead. And how do you do this? You need to cut away entirely the mindset of, I am too big to do this. I am too big to do domestic tasks. I'm too big to look at what is being fed to my children in school. A lot of men don't even bother to check assignments and homework to see, okay, what did you... They don't interact with their children. They don't ask questions. Your child has gone to school and has returned. Ask them questions. Find out what they are being fed. Check if what they are being fed aligns with your family values. Check if it aligns with the system of the home you are trying to build. Because if you don't do these things, they will teach them outside. If you don't teach them at home, they will teach them. And because you don't teach them at home, what they are being taught outside now becomes the wholesome standard that they know. And you can't change it when it gets to a certain age anymore. So what do I advise? Please, as a man, you have changed the environment, also change mentality, change mindset, adapt to what works where you are. And then the family can be kept as an wholesome entity and the children can grow seeing both parents in a healthy relationship. Number one is sense of community. Please look for a community, a group of like-minded men to be in. One thing to avoid immediately you get into diaspora, and I've also learned, is avoid isolation. Forget the fact that, oh, I can do it all on my own. No, it can kill easily. It can destroy your emotional identity, isolation. The first thing you need to do, look for people that share your kind of values, the things that you love, the things that you like to see. Look at that, study them first. When you have studied them and you have found out that, this person exhibits certain values that I also encourage, then connect with them. Form a system where you have some level of support. One thing that easily breaks a man down is when they are just all by themselves. And men hardly talk. A man can be going through the most gruesome situation, but you never know. Because we have always learned to always keep things together as a man, in quote. We believe manliness means talking less. And then we continue to go through these situations on our own and getting defeated. But when we have that system, that support system around us, oh, my brother, I am going through this situation. I need you to pray with me. It helps. Oh, there is something I'm trying to create. There's a vision I have in mind. There's a mission I'm trying to pursue. What do you think? How do you think we can achieve these things together? How do you think this idea can go global? You are going to be getting free consulting because you have that community. So you need access to somebody in the media world, and there is somebody within your community that is already exploring that aspect. Because of that community you have, you tap into their resources. You tap into their wealth of wisdom, their mindset, their mentality, and that's why it helps. So one thing to quickly avoid when coming abroad, or if you're abroad already, please avoid isolation. There is always 2, 3, 4 people that share your same mindset. Look for them, connect with them, and grow together. Grow together. Don't grow in isolation. It's dangerous. Well, this question is, for me, is spread in 2 dimensions. Number one is the way of the Lord. The way of the Lord. Teach your children in the way that they should go, and when they grow, they will not depart from it. So please, show them Jesus. Don't just take them to church. Show them Jesus. Let Jesus become part of your culture, the identity of your home. Let it be part of it. So number one thing is to show them Jesus, rather than just take them to church and just dump them there. Show them Jesus. Watch how they grow into it. Many times, many of us grew up in a environment, and for me particularly, I grew up just knowing church to be where we go. Like, I grew up to see church as, we have to go to church. My parents go to church, so we go. It took time before I understood being born again. So a child can be going to church just as an activity without the reality of salvation. So please show them Jesus and watch them grow into it. Number 2, the cultural aspect is, we know we have left our own country to another country where it's a different culture. How do you continue to ensure that your children grow in with that cultural mentality and mindset. Please, in the home, as much as possible, share your language with them. Let them know, oh, you are a Yoruba man. Let them know you are an Igbo man. Let them know you are from this tribe or that tribe, whatever tribe you have come from. Teach them your language by speaking it. I encourage this a lot. In the home, please speak your language as much as possible with your children. Let it not be found that the only language the children can speak is the one that is foreign or the ones where they are living at present. It does more benefit when they are multilingual. So as much as possible, let them learn your language. Be able to communicate with your children in your language as well as in other languages that they are familiar with. It's more beneficial. It gives that narrowed down, feel that you can communicate in a language that not too many people can connect with. In case you need to pass a special message to your children, it's part of their cultural identity. And in case where you want to go home, say Christmas, you want to spend Christmas back in your home country, they don't feel like they don't belong. Because language is powerful. If they can understand and speak the language, when they go back home at any point or they have a need to go back home, they don't feel like an outcast in their father's land. This is really very important. So fathers and mothers, I implore you, please, communicate in your language as well in the home. Let your children learn the basics. Good morning in your language, good afternoon in your language, or some basics. Let them pick up from there. And then the cultural identity can be preserved that way and continue to grow. Yes, on this one, I think a lot of times people mistake legacy for inheritance. And I'm going to separate the two and share depth into it. So legacy, let me start with inheritance. Inheritance is in items, the things around, houses, cars, properties, and a few other things around. Those are inheritances. And that is what largely a lot of people give to their children. Inheritances. That's what most people give. Now, legacy is what you give inside of them. What you have put inside is what is called legacy. What you have given to them physically is inheritance. But what you put inside that can never be taken from them is what is called legacy. Again, you can't give legacy if you don't have it. You can only give what you have. You can't give, right living, righteous living, or honesty. For example, honesty is a legacy. You can't give those things if you don't already have it inside of you. So these are the two differences. Now, how do you create a culture where the children grow with this legacy? Number one, be a good example. Live the life you want to see your children live after you. The things you want to see them do, please begin to do them. As they grow, they see you portray these values. One thing I always make sure to do, and I ensure that my children see me do them, especially my boy, is the way I present myself, especially my outfit or my outlook. I need him at his age to begin to see what responsible lifestyle looks like, what dressing properly means for a man, how you carry yourself as a man, what it means. I need him to begin to learn it at the age where he is now. As he continues to grow, it wouldn't be strange for him if he needs to look that way or dress that way, because there is a model that he has seen right from when he had been very young, living that way. So that standard is very important. The spiritual etiquette as well, very, very important. So this one, as a man, you want to drop spiritual legacies in the life of your children. Do they see you pray? Do they see you choose God over money? Or do they see you choose money over God? These are legacies you are printing in their hearts that they're going to pick up from. Let them see you take God as your number one priority. You are putting a legacy inside of them. Let them see you as a man of honesty. A man that can be honest, that when he says something, he keeps to his word. It's a very, very rare attribute. It's a social currency that a lot of people don't have. So these legacies, build it by being an example. Let them see you, build a career. Let them see you in challenging times. Go on your knees to pray. Let them see the fact that you are leading spiritually. Oh, they are sleeping. Go to their rooms and bless them in their sleep. Go and ask for, the angels of the Lord to be their shepherd, even in their dreams. Go with that courage and mindset. Let them also see you as a courageous man. Those are legacies. Let them be able to say, my father, if he was him in this situation, this is what he would do. My father will not give up at the face of challenges. My father will rise up to it. My father will go on his knees and beg God in prayer. My father will do this. My father will do that. Those are inbuilt traits that you are putting, and it's called legacy. Money is the lowest form of legacy. Anybody can make money, but not anybody can be honest. Not everybody can have integrity. Integrity is so scarce. It's a social currency that most people don't have. So please, put those things inside of them and they will grow with it. I'm going to pick your question from the last bit. Builder, cultivator, and protector. Now, this is a model example of what every man in the diaspora or anywhere in the world should look like. You must be able to build your home. You must be able to cultivate good character within the family system. And can I also mention that the family system is the model example of a society. So when we have family systems that are healthy, we have a healthy society. When it is the other way around as well, we have a society that is not healthy. So the model example of cultivating good character starts from the home. How do you do this as a man? Like I mentioned earlier, please read books. There are books, there are messages, there are people that you can model your life after that can make these things reflect in you as a protector. As a man, you should be at the forefront of spiritual dealings in your wife. Can I say this to all men that will listen to this sometime in the future? Please don't leave the responsibility of spiritual depth to your wife and go to sleep. You should be at the forefront of doing these things. As a protector, protect spiritually as well. It's not just standing at the door and say, oh, I have physical features, I can fight. No, there are battles that it is not physical. How do you fight those battles? Please lead with examples. Lead with prayers. How do you become a cultivator? You become a cultivator by the small and little things that you do. Cultivate with love. Correct with love. Correct with the design of God in mind. If God were to judge us by our activities and actions, we would have been gone. But with the love of God, He corrects us and pulls us back. So create an environment where even though you are making corrections, you are doing it with love. Even though you are scolding not to condemn or destroy. You are scolding to bring them back to order rather than destroy them. There is a way you can destroy a woman with your words, and there's a way you can correct a woman with your words. It depends on what you choose and how you choose it. And the last one after being a protector and cultivator is being a builder. How do you build? Please build with values in mind. The values that you like to see in your model home. Build with those values in mind. Oh, in this family, we don't speak like that. In this family, we don't curse. In this family, we don't use foul words. In this family, we don't dress inappropriately. In this family, this is the standard. In this family, we pray. In this family, we are God's people. In this family, we do this, we do that, we carry ourselves in this manner. I've seen families where they say, oh, in our lineage, people go to PhD level. The least is masters. That's a standard. You can also build with that mentality. Oh, in this family, this is the least kind of way we present ourselves. So anybody coming around your family is coming around with that same mentality. And you are also attracting like minds that can replicate the goals. Because either we like it or not, the children we are grooming, they will get to a stage, a point where they need to make decisions to now become independent. These values that we have instilled inside of them is what will become the bedrock through which they decide their marital partners, through which they decide how to behave in the society, through which they decide how they carry themselves. So my courage and my encouragement to you as men, as women, and as families building together, please lead with this mentality, lead with this example. God first, values next. And values that you are looking for is also in God. And then God bless you. In Jesus' name.